Hi folks, so today I want to talk a wee bit about intermittent fasting and really just kind of dive a wee bit into some of the myths which can manifest as concerns for some people around intermittent fasting, and also touch on some of the benefits, and hopefully I'll have time to go through a couple of the different styles of intermittent fasting that either I would use myself or with clients, or that are available to you to experiment with. Okay, so first of all, what is intermittent fasting? Well, fasting is just any time that you don't eat, then you are fasting. That's it. Okay, so the first myth that I want to address is that this is something new, something fatty, something kind of like weird and wacky and crazy. And it's not. Okay, so fasting has been a part of everyday life, for as long as we know. It just always has been, and it's actually a very big part of some cultures and some religions as well. But there are periods that you eat, and there are periods that you don't. There are periods that you should eat, and there are periods that you shouldn't eat. And of course, we have a natural fasting period every day. Over every 24-hour period, overnight we fast. And we have our breakfast where we break the fast. We break the overnight fast. So it is a natural cycle. Okay, so it's a natural part of life and of the human species that we fast sometimes. So then just a wee bit of the basics about our body's physiology. And again, I'm simplifying and possibly at sometimes oversimplifying, but our body exists in two stages, right? We're either storing energy or we're using energy. So one of the two. We're either in a fed state or a fasted state. So we're either eating or not eating. Okay? So, when you eat, when I eat, when we eat, certain hormones go up and increase. So, for example, insulin. So, anybody that's done any work with me, any of my weight loss courses or health courses, or trying to prevent diabetes, anything like that, will know and will have heard me talking about insulin. Okay, so insulin will increase whenever we eat. Now, it's there for good reason. It tells your body to store this energy as sugar in your liver. The sugar in your is stored in your liver as glycogen. Okay, but it also tells your body to store some of the energy as body fat. Because whenever we eat, we're always eating more than we need at that moment in time. So quite naturally, our body has to store it somewhere to keep us going through the next 3 or 4 hours. So whenever we're not eating, our body pulls on that energy from the sugar stores or from the fat stores to keep you going. Now, one of the key things here is that it pulls on the sugar stores first. And so if we haven't used everything up, if we don't need all of this energy, we're left with the fat bits that we kind of don't want, right? But it uses up these stores for just our normal metabolic activities, for our heart, for our liver, for our kidneys, for energy, for us going about our normal daily business of life. Okay, so fasting sometimes just gets a wee bit lost in translation. It's like as if we shouldn't be fasting, but our ability to fast as a species has allowed us to survive and to thrive. Because there's been many times during, our evolution and history where there's been food shortages, and, we've had to work our way through that as a species. So there's nothing wrong with not eating for a period of time and using your body fat, your stores. That's what it's there for. Looking back over the last, say, 50 years or so, and, right up to now, we argue about what we eat, low fat, high fat, protein, carbs, and what percentage should we eat them? Are nuts good for you or bad for you? Should we be eating grains or dairy or gluten? All these things, right? But we haven't actually looked too closely about when we eat and how we eat. And really what has crept in in that kind of like recent 50-year history is almost an obsessive need to eat all the time. You know, okay, so if I've heard it once, I've heard it 100 times. Oh, what can I snack on? You know, this need to eat as soon as you get hungry, right? You know, as soon as you start to feel a wee pang of hunger, you think, oh gosh, dinner's not for another hour. I'm going to have to eat something now. Or sometimes you just think you're hungry and you're snacking and eating. You know, but this idea of snacking between meals is relatively new. Okay, I'm old enough to remember a time whenever we had breakfast, lunch and dinner, and eating between meals was frowned upon, because if you wanted something to eat, you know, an hour or so before your dinner, you were basically told no because it'll spoil your dinner. You know, so this is something, you know, fasting is something that has been quite normal. The second common myth that comes up, and it's more of like a concern with a lot of people, is that fasting can put your body into starvation mode. You know, that it shuts down your metabolism and prevents you from burning fat. Now, while it's true that, you know, long-term weight loss reduces the number of calories that you burn over time, that's quite a natural thing. This happens no matter what weight loss method you use. So if you're fasting and losing weight, then that will happen anyway. But there's no evidence that intermittent fasting causes a greater reduction in calories burned and being burned than other weight loss strategies. In fact, a lot of the studies show that these short-term fasts, which is really what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like 40 days and 40 nights fast or anything like that. These short-term fasts can actually increase your metabolic rate. And this is due to the increase in the blood levels of noradrenaline, which stimulate your metabolism and instruct your fat cells to break down body fat. So, you know, that's something just to be aware of. And then another, myth that I've heard is that intermittent fasting makes you lose muscle, because whenever you fast, your body starts burning muscle for fuel. Now, again, this happens with dieting in general, but there's no evidence to suggest that intermittent fasting, that it occurs more with intermittent fasting with other methods. On the other hand, some studies that I was reading indicate that intermittent fasting is actually better for maintaining muscle mass. And in one review, intermittent fasting caused similar amount of weight loss as calorie restriction, but with much less reduction in muscle mass. And as we're losing weight, if it's weight loss that you're interested in, and as we grow older as well, we do not want this reduction in muscle mass. So anytime that we are either restricting calories or trying to lose weight or anything like that, we should be doing something as well to either protect the muscle mass or increase muscle mass. So that's kind of like a whole other video, whole other story. And then there's the whole breakfast thing with fasting. And this was probably the thing that intrigued me the most, and maybe even caused me some concern. You know, if I'm doing a longer fast, I'm missing out breakfast, and I'm a big breakfast person. So breakfast, the most important meal of the day. And a lot of the time it is. But there is this myth that, whenever you're trying to be healthy, or, and it's required for good health, or if you're trying to lose weight, you must have breakfast. Now, with the vast majority of my clients, my initial approach will always be to encourage breakfast. A good breakfast, high in protein with some healthy fats and complex carbs, breaking the fast that way. It can help to stabilise blood sugars, and 80% of the time with clients that is an issue. It helps to control cravings and mood swings and prevent food-related fatigue and support a good healthy digestion. However, it's all very dependent on the individual client and at what stage they or you are at in your health journey. So, if your blood sugars are well stabilised, you're already eating quite healthily, you just kind of want to take it up a notch. It depends on the level of change that you might need or want. Then that will depend on whether or not it's important for you to have breakfast, say within a half an hour of rising, or whether you can delay that for a while without any adverse benefits. That's something that I can advise on. So breakfast, just to conclude, can benefit many people, but it's not essential for health. Okay. So that's a bit of a context for you to kind of take the fear factor away, you know, those kind of like myths. So in terms of intermittent fasting, what's my interest, right? So my interest is that I'm always on the lookout for options that might suit my clients, because my service promises an individual approach, a tailored approach, offering nutrition and lifestyle solutions that are tailored to each individual client's needs. So that means that I have to have experience and knowledge of a wide variety of approaches to managing health conditions such as obesity, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, food intolerances and allergies, thyroid imbalances, hormonal issues like, you know, stress, poor sleep, constipation, digestive issues, anything like that. And intermittent fasting is one of those approaches. And I've been using it now with clients for over 2 years. It's really, it's based in both science and anecdotal evidence that it's safe and effective. And some of its benefits include weight loss, improved metabolic health, diabetes prevention, and increased longevity, which is a big passion of mine. In particular, and this is where it's really interesting, as we age, intermittent fasting has been shown to bolster the creation of new neurons, which is like a process called neurogenesis in the hippocampus, right? So it's in the part of the brain that's involved in short and long-term memory. And it's also a part of the brain that's one of the first casualties of Alzheimer's disease. So I'm really interested in it for that reason alone, all of the other reasons. But for that reason alone, I think it's just so important to explore it just a wee bit more and kind of like to experiment with it. So it's not just about calorie restriction, that's part of it. But it's also as much about rest in your digestive system. Again, a big passion of mine, the whole, you know, gut health. You know, giving the body time to clear out its debris. And it kind of forces the burning of any excess fuel that we're storing. So, you know, one of the benefits that I love about it is that functionally, as you're interpreting it or developing it or bringing it into your life, it can be tweaked and amended to suit the individual. You know, it can be tweaked as in what you can eat or drink, what's allowed or not allowed during a fast, and how long the fasting period is. There's no hard and fast rules. So there's nobody saying that just because you heard of somebody doing, you know, 48-hour fast, 24-hour fast, doing 18 hours, only having one meal a day or something like that, oh God, I couldn't do that. You know, there's no hard and fast rules. Whenever I'm working with a client, I work out on a one-to-one basis what is best for them. Because as a health and wellness therapist, there is no one size that fits all. You know, it's got to be able to be tweaked to suit you as an individual. So we're all different. Everybody's got different health challenges and lifestyles, right? And so we need a solution that is personalised. Now, that's what you get. If you book a one-to-one appointment with me, you get a personalised nutrition and lifestyle solution for your health challenge or to help you achieve your health goal. So, just in case you're thinking, okay, I don't want to book a one-to-one, I just want to experiment with this myself, right? Here's a brief look at a couple of the different styles of intermittent fasting that some of these you might have heard of already, right? So there's a couple of different styles. One is called time restricted eating, TRE. Okay, so you fast for a set number of hours each day. You have a window of time during which you eat, and then you fast for the remainder of the day. The number of hours fasted is unique to everyone, but the most common and the most effective seems to be the 16-8, so that you would eat for 8 hours during the day and that you would fast for 16 hours. A lot of those 16 hours would be through the night anyway, okay? So whenever I'm practicing intermittent fasting, I probably aim for that window myself. Personally, sometimes I don't get to 16, sometimes it's 14. But, you know, that's a good, easily managed one that you can try out and see. There's another style called the alternate day fasting. And that allows you to eat normally on non-fast days, but then you restrict your calories. So it's not a full fast on the fasting day, you restrict your calories. Now, it goes way down, to around 25% of your usual intake. So it could go down as far as something like 800 calories on one day. So normal eating one day, 800 calories, another day, which is called alternate day fasting. I've tried that a couple of times. Me personally, it doesn't work for me. It's all kind of like too erratic for me, but I've had some clients that it's worked very well for. And then there's the 5-2 plan. Now that's been around for a good while as well. It's a bit like the alternate day fasting. On 5 days of the week you eat normally. On the other 2 days of the week you restrict the number of calories to around about 500 or 600, depending on your individual height, weight, things like that. But the fast days shouldn't be 2 days one after another. They have to be broken up. So it is probably the most well-known approach, but you do have to count calories on your fasting days. And again, it's not one of my preferred ones because I don't like counting calories as such like that. And I think it's often misunderstood, because sometimes then people think that they can just go and eat a load of junk and crap on the 5 days that they're eating, as in normally. And as with all of the intermittent fasting, whenever you are eating, we're still encouraging you to eat healthily, good quality, and all those normal healthy eating rules apply. And then there's another one where you fast for 1 day every week. So it's kind of like a weekly 24-hour fast. So with this style, you eat normal healthy food 6 days of the week. You don't count your faff around or anything too much, but just a good healthy diet. But you fast completely for a 24-hour period. Now, this can be difficult to maintain, since you're really only consuming liquids for 24 hours straight. I've done it a good few times, and I've got better at it and more comfortable with it each time that I do it. My two favourites, both personally and for clients actually, would probably be number one, the time restricted eating, like a 16-8 or a variation of that, maybe even just starting with a 12-hour fast and a 12-hour eating window, and then kind of shaving off hours from that. A mix of that and an occasional longer fast, touching on the 24-hour fast. Anytime I ever try a 24-hour fast, I get to about 23 hours and then I just say, that's it, I'm done. So again, no hard and fast rules. You tweak it around to suit yourself. The time restricted eating, I think, is a really good option for beginners, right? Picking a period of time when you're going to fast and a period of time when you're going to eat. It allows you to start, say, fasting for 12 hours a day, most of which you'll be asleep. After you get comfortable with that, then you might increase that by an hour. You kind of slowly, week by week, month by month, maybe stretch out that window until you get something that really suits you, that you feel comfortable with. It's kind of like a sweet spot for you and for your health and for your health goals. Now, this could look like, say, last meal at 7 p.m, next meal at 11 a.m, or at 10 a.m, or at 9 a.m, depending on whether you're doing a 12-hour fast, 13-hour fast, 14-hour fast, or 16-hour fast, something like that. It's a great option for personalising it to suit your favourite meal time. Are you a breakfast person? Or are you a late evening eater? Which can you kind of like miss out or delay or push back, so it could be about pushing your dinner at night from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and your breakfast either, forward or back just by an hour or so, and you can get to extend that fast. So the extension and the length of the fast, you will get, I suppose, just more in-depth long-term health benefits. The 24-hour fast, it needs a wee bit of a mindset shift, to be honest, because you're making a voluntary decision to not eat for 24 hours, which is kind of the same whenever you're doing the time restricted eating. And this is the key, okay, with any of these intermittent fastings. It's voluntary. It's not starvation. You know exactly when you're having your last meal. It's prepared and it's planned out. Okay, so it shouldn't cause you any undue stress, and once it starts to cause you undue stress, then you just say, I'm done for the day, which is what happens to me after the 23 hours. I'm generally thinking, no, I'm done. I've done enough. I'm okay. I want my lunch or my dinner or whatever else, and off I go and have it. I'm not precious about that last hour. So, I've read all the evidence. I practiced that myself quite extensively last year, to be honest. COVID, lockdown, restrictions, all of that kind of knocked me out of that way of working, but getting back into it again, started it up again last week and really loved it. Just the overnight fasts, trying to work it up now from 14 hours up to 16 hours, but I'm going to have her at the 14 for a wee while and see how things go. So, it might be worth trying out. For me, actually, the best time to do the 24-hour fast is whenever I'm busy, right? It hasn't worked very well, not that I'm not busy, but at home. It worked better for me whenever I was out, either out and about working or in an office working all day away from home and not in close proximity of the kitchen, just in next door. So haven't done a 24 or 23 hour fast for a long time, but definitely whenever I did, the key to success was planning both your pre-fast meal and your post-fast meal, if you know what I mean. So the thing is now that it's not going to suit everybody, and it's not the only approach, and it's not the only approach to healthy eating. It's just one of them. It's not recommended for certain groups. So for anybody with advanced and uncontrolled diabetes, anybody who's pregnant, or individuals with a history of eating disorders, definitely not recommended. So it's important to know which of the options might work best for you as a beginner even, right? And I definitely always suggest don't start with anything too drastic. And I would like to think that anybody that was starting something like that, if you're not sure about it, I recommend that you do consult with a nutrition professional, me, to determine your options and maybe even just help you to work out the schedule that works best for you. And always, 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 as I said earlier, keep in mind that the quality of the food that you consume whenever you're not fasting is of utmost importance. Eating nutritious food is as important as, if not more important, as adherence to the fasting schedule that you're trying to stick to. So if you think that this is something that you would like to explore, I'd love to hear from you. Just in the meantime, I'll just finish off now, and I just have a couple of favours to ask. To help me to grow my business, please do let me know if you have enjoyed this video in the comments below, or if you have any questions at all, pop them in the comments below. And finally, why not share the video with a friend? It just helps me just get a wee bit more coverage. So that's me for today, and I will just leave you with this. Have a great day. Bye.